Okay, hi guys, and welcome to another review. This time we're taking a look at the Tin Hifi P2, which is one of probably this year's most anticipated earphones, given how popular last year's Tin Hifi P1 were. It was really one of the first earphones that came out with this planar magnetic driver inside. In my mind, just to be totally clear, I think the P1 is one of these earphones that has just taken everything to another level. There was nothing really that sounded quite like it. The way it retrieves detail, the sort of spacing between instruments and stuff. It was really a massive step up for me for whatever else was in that price range and far beyond. I would personally take the P1 on sound with a lot of headphones upward of $500 easily. That's my personal opinion. I know lots of people were, you know, when it came out it was highly praised, then the usual thing happens, the cool down period starts happening and people come in with all sorts of weird things. They were saying like it has no bass. It had bass, but it wasn't a bass heavy earphone. It had excellent bass response in terms of texture and detail on the low end. I think if people are expecting a super bassy headphone, it's not that, but what it has in the mid-range and the highs is absolutely phenomenal. Just really that and the Shure tape last year were two of the highlight products. So now Tin Hifi is back. They've got the P2. It seems like they unfortunately have tried to address this issue with the bass, which I think was a non-issue. And in doing so, they've made something that's more of a, I would say it's a side grade as opposed to a true upgrade. There's a few extras included in the box that it might appear like you're getting more value for your money, but you know, box packaging, accessories and stuff, that's all sort of superficial. So let's get into the review. I may as well get the box and stuff out the way first. So this is the new box. It has this sort of weird, I don't know what you're meant to sort of do with this, this hinged opening. But regardless, you get a new leather carry case. It's okay. It's certainly different, big enough to hold the earphones, and some extra tips. Stick that up there. Nothing else on the top, and then you have this sort of jewellery drawer style with 3 different types of foam tips, small, medium, large, 3 different types of silicone tips there. You have balanced adapters, right angled adapters, and oh, this was the box that the cable came in. So I mean, it's a nice upgrade over the original, but at the end of the day it's going to sit in a drawer somewhere at some point. What you do have new is this cable. So this cable is a big step up on the original. It's got very nice flow to it. I always talk about the flow of a cable because when I'm moving I want it to sort of be compliant move. Certainly not the best that I've seen this year. Again, I keep bringing this in, but this is the new Monarch cable from The Audio, which is fantastic. But this is a very good cable, copper 8 braid bottom, 4 braid top past the splitter. You get this carbon fiber effect. You know, it is coming in a 2.5 balanced. Little hook to tidy it up. Again, metal and carbon splitter. This little plastic slider cable cinch. And up the top here you have the new earphones, which this is something. Before I get into the design of the earphones, I just want to talk about this connector. Has always been, it's a 2-pin connector, as you can see there. and it actually protrudes outwards as opposed to being recessed into the body. My biggest gripe with 2-pin connectors that sit flush is that I've actually had, you know, moisture build up underneath here, and the moisture building up underneath, it sort of corrodes downwards. You know, the corrosion gets in on the copper and the terminal points and works its way up. So actually on a number of my 2-pin connector custom IEMs, you can actually see through the clear shell. You can see the extent of the corrosion seeping in through the wires in the body. So that's the reason for most of the time that I choose, you know, I have a preference towards MMCX connectors. Plus I do like the sort of versatility of the swivel on it. However, one of the cheaper companies kind of goes a little bit of the way to addressing this. If I grab a set of KZ, I have no idea which KZ this is. Oh no, this is the CCA C10 Pro. So you can see that it's a similar sort of idea where it protrudes from the body and it effectively forms a hood, and this hood slides over the top. If I can get it right, it slides over the top and it actually protects it from water ingress. So I actually like that idea. It solves the problem that I've been having with 2-pin connectors. The only issue is that, for example, if you go to use a regular, you want to use an aftermarket cable. Most aftermarket cables have this sort of, you know, without the protruding hood, which means that when you connect it, you have this weird sort of gap where it's not covered over, and the same problem is. So just something to be wary of if you're going to buy these and use them with your own aftermarket cable. You really need the sort of KZ style cable, which, you know, the KZ cables, this one's better than previous generations, but it's still trash. So this is a good cable. If you want to use it with an aftermarket cable, it's still, you know, you're going to be limited with your options if you want to have the benefits of this hooded connector. So if I get rid of the cable for now, the body is definitely upgraded. It's far more premium than the original design, although I wouldn't call it a premium housing. It's an all metal body. It's got lips on the nozzles, and it has metal grill guards here as well. So apart from that, there's very little. It's a very small body. It's a little bit heavier than the originals, but for all intents and purposes, it is an upgrade. Is it much of an upgrade from the original? Not really. I think it's, you know, set aside improvement, but nothing spectacular. So getting into sound, I'm gonna find it hard to recommend these out with their price band. The price of these, I believe, are around about $350, which has people absolutely losing themselves about. Which my biggest issue with that was that the original P1 were, in terms of sound, to my ears, were spectacularly underpriced. They were them and the Shure tape, and I think the Shure H27 were some of the best performing price to performance ratio, like going way beyond what you could have ever imagined for them. These seem more fair about the money. I think the P1 are an overall better sounding earphone. Having a little bit more time to play with them, I've been doing a lot of listening with the M400 X2 Pro, and the A2 and Shanling M6. They definitely benefit from being given a proper amount of power. You wouldn't see that from the impedance rating of them, but they definitely, it's a clear difference when you're playing it out of something like this versus, you know, straight out the phone with an adapter. The sound on this one is very, very, very detailed, extremely detailed, extreme separation, extremely good imaging. It has a far more enhanced low end than the original P1. Really good extension, nice rumble, nice you know, roll off and decay into the low end where it sort of fades away nicely, rumbles and then reduces. The mid-range is absolutely stunning, but the highs, there's a weird thing going on with the highs. In all my typical, you know, sibilance tests, using hi-hat cymbals, even triangle strikes, stuff like that, it doesn't display itself with this sort of weird peaky sharpness. It took a while, but after a bit of time it came out in Snare Drums in particular. Like Snare Drums, there's this sort of blast of sharpness. Now it's not overly sharp, it's not painful, it doesn't make you want to stop listening, but it makes you go sort of like, oh, it sounds like a little bit out of place for what you would expect from the rest of the sound performing so good. Apart from that, it's an excellent sounding earphone. But then again, we've got something like this coming in, the LZ A7, and a few other earphones that I just think these are worth their money. I think in terms of sound, they're worth their money in terms of sound, but when it comes to build quality, accessories, all that other stuff, I think that it's far overpriced, to be honest. But in terms of sound, it's about there or thereabouts, $300, $400 range. But there are other options in that $300 and $400 range from Hi-Fi companies who hit above that mark. You know, you pay $300 and you feel like, wow, this sounds like $600, $700 headphone. The LZ A7 being one of them, just to name a few. You know, this is in a similar price as the Fearless Audio Tequila, which I think match or surpass them. I think if you're deciding between these and the P1, get the P1 and save your money on the difference. If you do have these, or you are going to pick them up, you want that little bit more bass, I think they're an excellent sounding headphone. There's sometimes that, you know, some songs just click and you're just like, wow, the amount of detail retrieval, just really, really deep, like refined detail that you're picking up on it, is wonderful on these. So it retains a lot of the characteristics of the P1, but I don't think it was necessary to enhance the lows like that, and whatever they ended up doing with the lows might have affected that spike on the snare drums. So that's the review of the Tin Hifi P2. Again, I'm sorry this review's gone 14 minutes, and I really am trying to keep these under 10 minutes, but I seem to just waffle on. If you want to see more reviews, there's going to be weekly, you know, multiple a week new videos coming out. It's a new channel. I'm not very good at this yet, but I promise I'm going to try and get better, improve the lighting setup, improve the sort of mess going on in my desk and stuff like that. But yeah, any questions, ask below, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.